Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's good to see all of you people. If you aren't aware, I just got back from a tournament in Key West. It was the flag football tournament for the IWFFA. If you guys aren't aware of what that is, it's the International Women's Flag Football Association. It is an amazing organization full of wonderful women of all ages, and it is a huge event, especially the one in Key West. There were so many people there, and I am proud to be a board member and part of the IWFFA. My reason for doing this video is that because we teach about consciousness and awareness and kind of all these things, there was a lot that I saw that went on during this tournament. And I know that so many people are working through their attachments and working through their identities and working through becoming aware of oneself. And this flag football tournament really brought a lot of awareness to people that are unaware. And it kind of highlighted, and of course I've seen this throughout my life, but it kind of really highlighted. Every time I see it, I always see it in a different perspective. It's really weird. I could see something a million times, the same idea, but every single time, because it's with different people, different situations, it's like a new perspective. And this weekend really showed me a different perspective of how people attach themselves and their identity and their sense of self to the game of football. And you think that, women are less competitive in that way, or they don't have that drive as men and that crazy aggressiveness. But let me tell you something, women are just as bad as men in that aspect. And what's sad is that I've seen so many people and women coaches especially. And this is sad because the IWFFA, one of the reasons why I became a board member was because of the value system. They want to promote, of course, healthy competition. They want to promote togetherness and camaraderie, and they want to give women an outlet for their sports as well. But they want to build leadership. And one of the things that I saw this weekend was women, especially women coaches, doing the same thing that men do to their young sons. And that is that was kind of being very aggressive to the point of being mean and harsh to people, especially the players that being so young, and making it seem like that football is the all to everything. So if you don't win this tournament, if you don't win this game, if you mess up on a play, I've seen some very aggressive coaches. I've seen some really nasty things said to some of the players. And there was a point where I had to step in a couple of times to people. Most of the time I was up in my nice little air-conditioned booth and playing the music and announcing the games. But there were a couple of games that I was down on the field for the juniors and everything, announcing, because it was really hard to see their numbers, being that they were sort of small and they were basically from 8 to 10 years old, and they were really tiny, and it was really hard to see from way back then. So I decided to go on. But anyways, there was one incident that I saw. This female coach and this group of girls was about between 8 to maybe 10. They were definitely not even. I think maybe a couple of them might have started junior high and that. And so they were really young. And this lady and this one player was making mistakes. And this one lady coach was on her and screaming at her, what the beep are you doing? And going off. And I'm sitting there looking, and I turned my head and I'm like, what is this lady? Did I just hear what I thought I said? And I actually had to interject, and I looked at her. I said, "Oh, coach." I was like, "What are you being so aggressive for? What is this situation?" Like, and she's like, "Well, I was like, "Hun," I was like, "These are young girls. They're just learning the game." "Well, no. They've been playing for 2-3 years already." I was like, "Yeah, but they're not even 9-10 years old." I was like, "Their minds haven't even developed." And she kind of stopped and looked at me and kind of laughed for a second and said, "Yeah, you're right." And it kind of stopped her temporarily, but later in another game, she kind of went back to the situation. And I saw this situation happen with many of the aggressive teams. It happened. There was guy coaches coaching girls, and there was women coaches coaching, and there were some really nice, great coaches out there that were teaching, hey, how to be a leader. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay. Like, we're a team. We win as a team. We lose it as a team, because that's what sports is really about. But the teams that were there to win and dominate had really aggressive coaches. And what I saw was the developmental minds of the coaches that were developing children's minds to be okay with themselves, to be okay with losing, to be okay with, working hard and achieving a goal, and not having so much criticism. And I've seen other coaches that were teaching these kids, instilling these kids to become aggressive and win at all costs. And your value system is based on whether or not you win or lose. And you can tell by the attitudes. You could literally watch the girls on the aggressive teams act out and be aggressive, and if they messed up, they would get really mad and start. You could see the anger and the tears, and the other team, yes, they were upset too, but they handled it differently. And this is such an important thing in life, because you have to realize that, one, sports is just a game. I love sports, and you guys know, if you know me, I'm very competitive, and yes, I get upset too, but I get upset because of certain situations, and because I know I practice and stuff, but then I get over myself because and whatever happens, because I realize it's just a game and it doesn't bring me value. But people who are unconscious hold on to ideas. That's why there's so many people running around chasing business, chasing status, chasing sports, and making things that seem like, oh, if they know sports, if they know business, if they know all these different ideas, then what's going to happen is it's going to bring them value. And it's funny to see how young of an age that these parents are instilling in their children that this sport that they're playing is more important than basic human values. And to me, I sat there and I watched it this entire weekend. There was one team that we actually had to kick out of the tournament because, for no reason, just waiting for a game, they decided to start a fight with another group of girls from another team for no reason. The other team wasn't doing anything to them, saying anything, and these group of girls just decided that they're going to pick a fight. And this coach that they had was a very aggressive coach. So what are we teaching our children? What are we teaching our society? This is a very common trend in sports. It's not about sport. It's about money. It's about winning. It's about the value it brings to yourself, because if you're a winner, that means you're somebody. And this is the wrong message. This is what we have to change in society. This is a message that we teach our children and teach ourselves and ingrained in ourselves as adults, that bring us value. If we are the spiritual teacher, then we are valued. If we know all the conscious things in the world, then we have value. If we know business and are making millions and I'm driving a Porsche or a Caddy or a Ferrari or whatever, then I have value. If I'm getting paid $350 million to shoot a basketball or a hockey puck or whatever, then I have value. These are not values. The more things that you have does not bring you value. And it was so sad to see. I'm going to be honest with you. I watched this entire weekend. I gave props to the good coaches out there and there were some good coaches. There were some teams with some good personalities that were teaching the girls how to work through hard, build up, work through adversity and all these different things, and they won. And then there was other teams that lost that were like, oh, we're better than everybody. We're dominant. They played all this hardcore music, and you could just see the attitudes. And when they lost, their world fell apart. They were on the sidelines crying and just looking distraught. And this is how we have to shift our consciousness. This world is shifting. It has shifted. The 5D is here. The 5D is now. It may not mean much to some of you, and that's okay, because if it doesn't mean anything to you, then that means you're not a part of that world, and you are going to be stuck in the 3D world full of judgment, pain, suffering, ego, undervaluing yourself. But those of us who are in the 5D world are going to see this. It's going to be a common theme, and we have to see it within ourselves too, because remember, this isn't a judgment towards other people. This is an observation of perspectives of ourselves, living out different ideas so that we can gain knowledge. But still, as a society, as far as the separation that we see, even though there's no such thing, as far as that, we still have to teach and be a part of those other values so that we can maybe shed some light. And I talked to a lot of people constantly, and I was telling people, hey man, this is just a game, don't worry about it. I even went up to a little girl who was crying and said, hey girl, it's okay, it's just a game, like, you'll get them next year, just try it. It's just, this is how our society functions. And so I thought that this would be a nice little video for you guys to see and understand. And I hope this really helps you gain perspective, because I saw this in many situations. I saw coaches walking around with shirts on them saying, protect the ones behind you, respect the ones that walk beside you, and destroy the ones that are in front of you. And that's the message that they're sending to the kids. And that is not the message that needs to be in the minds of young children and even ourselves as adults. I get it that we want to be that we want to be focused, but nothing should ever come before human decency. And I hope that we understand that. And I hope that if you're watching this video and and you play sports, or you're going through life and that you realize that everything you're chasing doesn't matter. And the only thing that matters is when your time comes, you're going to ask yourselves a couple questions. You're going to say, what did I learn? And how much love did I show to myself and others? And then you're going to have this review where you're going to see everything that you did, not in judgment, because you are your hardest critic. You will judge yourself. There will be no God or anything else out there that are judging you. It's you that will judge yourself. And it is you that will create the karma that will keep looping yourself back into these incarnations. And that's how it will work until you learn to resolve yourself, to realize that, hey, I'm in pool. I play semi-pro pool play. I will be competitive and I will work hard. But if I lose, I will shake the hand of someone who is just better than me in that moment, or maybe just better than me, plain and simple, and will always beat me. Who knows? We always have that one. But I will shake the hand, and I will hurt for a minute, but then I will realize, it's like I always do, it's just a game. That it doesn't matter, that my value comes from my self-worth, and 2 minutes later, I'll be back smiling, joking around with people, because my value is not based on wins or losses. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember that your self-value is based on who you see yourself as a person, not what you have. All right, everybody, have a great day.